Hey everybody, this is Neil at Jersey Sports Bar in Federal Way, Washington, and you are listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars, the podcast that blends the modern scooter lifestyle with a twist of the paranormal over a cool cocktail.
Bar reviews, scooter talk, ghost stories. We are an independent podcast that follows a group of modern and vintage Vespa riders in search of classic pubs, dive bars, and haunted taverns. This is not smart or safe, and that alone sounds like a disclaimer, which we don't like. But it's still really fun.
Okay, welcome to episode 47, Strip Mall Pub Crawl.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hey, we have a lot to unpack today, including our review.
Well, let's get started then.
Okay, our review of the condensed couple scoot a few weeks back, our mini tour of strip mall bars last Sunday, and a conversation with Peter Andresjeski, the curator of cocktails, the Shepard of Bars, the author of SeattleBars.org, about the current state of the industry and the changes and loss of some classic bars and pubs.
Now, did you give him the Shepard of Bars? I like that name, or is that his?
No, I
yours?
did that.
That's nice.
That's how I feel about him.
Is that all this info going into one episode? Is that why it's been so long since our last podcast?
Yes.
Hey.
Okay. Of course, we'll also have scooter news, spooky news,
And?
Fun facts.
fun facts.
Yes.
All right, guys, we got a full crew. We got a full house today. We have more people than we have headsets and microphones today.
Do you know why that is?
Yeah.
Because it's 50 degrees and rain and then there's nothing else to do.
This seemed like the best option for a couple hours before the Seahawks game.
That or
Nice.
another domestic violence call.
So we got
Time to go.
We got a rare appearance by Bobby Chung.
Yeah, baby.
We've got Keith, also known as Pendominono. We got the Lizard
Yep.
and the Coach
Uh-huh.
and me. Wow.
Yeah.
So, Mark, what's up? What's been going on? How was your trip up north?
Good. It was whiskey filled, and but I was not the first to bow down or bow out for the night.
Bow down to Washington?
Well, bow down to a whiskey shot, or well, it was tequila. That kind of did,
Yeah.
brought the night to an end.
You had a big night.
Molly said it's time to go.
Oh, you didn't spend the night?
No.
You were all the way up in Everett.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, but everything's good. Just trying to get back to in school or in person school, but we got put on hold again for a while. So who knows if we're ever going back this year?
Holy shit. How about you, Pendominono? You going to go back to school?
Getting schooled currently, yes.
Yeah,
Not much because, house is torn apart and rolling around in the dirt and the rain.
You've been really quiet the last few weeks.
Busy.
Everything
Been busy.
good? Yeah.
Been busy, yeah.
You seem real serious.
I take this very seriously, yes.
As you
Finally,
should.
somebody.
All right. Hey, Lizard.
Hey,
What's been? You just flew in, got up at 4 a.m., flew in from Bozeman. What's happening?
boy, are my arms tired. But
Yeah.
no, I was there for a couple days visiting our daughter and our son. It was our daughter's birthday, or it is tomorrow. And so made a quick trip, had a lot of fun. Now I'm back in action.
So you couldn't stay through her birthday,
Well, her birthday's tomorrow.
right?
So-
You golf on weekdays. You can't stay and see your daughter on a weekday?
Well, I probably could have, but we chose not to. Well, she's got to go to school.
Yeah, there you go.
She is in school
She
at
has
Montana
to sit
State.
in front of her computer. And then, well, how about you, Chong? What's happening?
Not much. Just my house.
Pull your pants up, Bob. Get back to the show.
My house is torn apart as well. And other than that, and my ponytail, I have a ponytail.
I
now.
see that. We see that. Nobody wanted to say anything about it, but you're remodeling your bathroom.
Yes.
So once it's done, you can wash your hair and get a fucking haircut.
It's
I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to pretty soon.
It's a special treat to have Bobby Chong, and we haven't had him here for quite a while.
I think
Thank you.
the last couple of times he a long time ago, like 6-8 months ago, he did it via Zoom.
That was
Or,
last
or he
time.
tried to from the side of the road one day.
Yeah. He was like,
Forget it.
well, I'm driving. Well, didn't you commit to do this? Yes, but I'm driving.
Sorry.
Anyway, welcome Bobby Chong and Pen Dominono.
Thank you.
Careful with that microphone. They make noise when
what
you're moving
about
them
you?
all
Yeah,
around.
what's your story?
Well, as you know, I'm still working on myself. I'm doing the
Yeah, where are you at with that?
I'm doing the inside work. I just finished a new book called "Awaken Your Psychic Ability."
Was it a picture book?
You wrote it? You wrote it, or you read it?
I read it.
Oh.
So I'm now it's for professionals that work in the business of healing and that sort of thing. I didn't realize that when I got it, but I finished it. And I'm now a practicing psychic. So if anybody wants a reading, I'm happy to do it. It's $45 for the first half hour, and then just $20 for each 10 minutes after that.
And what
So-
do you hold a hand, or what body part do you hold to read somebody's future?
Actually, I don't need to do that. I use the LIFE process, which I learned. Listen, intuit.
Life?
Yeah, can't remember what the F means. Fasten yourself.
Okay.
Anyway, along with my previous spiritual awakening, I'm heading now to, as I say, nirvana. Seriously now, so I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, learning a lot.
Isn't he dead?
I was going to say they're back together.
We just did talk about that, but it's also a place. So, I mean,
So you've been busy.
yeah. I spend my morning quiet solitude missionary. I was going to say missionary time, but meditating time.
Might as well be.
And it's really been working out good for me. All right, so enough of that.
Hi, this is Chris at Local in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. You're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters and Bars. Hey, Betty.
Yeah, you just brought her up. Hey, Betty, that was nice of him to bring up Beth.
Yeah, I don't know how he knew her.
She will never hear it.
Yeah, well, it's probably best, don't you think?
Hey, let's talk about some fun facts.
Oh, nice. I like it.
Thanks to uberfacts.com for shipping these over. Really nice. I don't know how many other podcasts are doing that for, but
Is this the same Uber that takes you, like, picks you up? and
no,
drops you
this
off?
is just Uber Facts. This is like Uber
This is a
means
German.
everything, all,
Yeah,
you know.
Okay.
It's really nice to have those guys on staff. They do a hell of a job.
They do, and just for that quick mention, really nice. So here's one. The average American driver will spend 4 minutes of their life simply waiting for red lights to turn green. 4 months.
Really?
Or longer if you're on a scooter.
Bullshit.
Just traffic lights or in traffic?
Waiting for a red light to turn green would be a traffic
The
light.
sum total
No,
of
sitting in
waiting.
traffic on a freeway.
No. This is just waiting for traffic lights.
Oh, shit.
It's a long time.
Well, that's not me. I'm not commuting that far.
Okay. Keith, you want to take this one?
Sure. Who eats Subway sandwiches?
Well, I've had them.
Yeah.
I do.
I like the tuna myself. I think it's a good sandwich. In 2017, Subway's chicken was DNA tested by a Canadian company and found to only contain about 50% chicken. The rest is soy filler.
Right. But it looks like chicken and it tastes like chicken.
So it must be
do we
healthy.
really care?
Must be the healthiest of chicken.
Just remember, it was Canadians.
Yeah, very good.
All four of them participated.
All right, Shelbert, this has some French in it, so it's up to you.
Okay, well,
let's
let
see
me
you
what
do
we
it.
got here. To help prostitutes get more business in the 16th century, officials in Venice designated a bridge where they could stand and show their breastises. The bridge still stands to this day and is called Puente delle Tete, or Bridge of Teats.
Yes, it's still there.
That's a fitting bridge.
How
Well,
many
why would
people-
you take that down?
Yeah, I know. And how many people do you think know about that and they actually go up there and do a photo op?
Well, I hope the ladies of the 16th century still not showing up at the bridge.
Well, they're now down in the water.
Yeah, they'd be in the wet nipples.
So Venice is still in Italy, right?
Did I say this was in Venice?
You said
Yeah.
French.
Oh, this is Italian. Sorry.
Well,
What they did was some French.
The Amish were there too.
blame it on Uberfax.
All right, Lizard.
Okay. Occasional, at a party once in a while, if offered, casual cocaine users.
I don't know who that could be.
The nasal passages open and close thanks to erectile tissue. The same stuff that makes penis or clitoris hard.
So
What?
think
Really?
about that. Your sinus, that inside your nose is the same tissue.
Is that like the nose bones connected to the...
I don't know, dickhead.
I'm in shock that this subject is on the podcast.
Oh, not really.
Not family friendly.
Well, just my point is maybe that's the connection with the cocaine, why people like the cocaine so much, because it affects the erectile tissue in your nose.
Is that why people always snort up?
I don't know. I've
Instead
never
of out?
seen it. Everybody's real quiet.
Moving on.
Hold on, I'm still thinking.
Okay. As an aside, Jonah Hill had to be hospitalized while filming Wolf on Wall Street for snorting too much fake cocaine.
Really?
Do you think it really was? Probably.
I don't know about that.
All right. I like this one a lot. And I wrote it
Are
myself.
you guilty of it?
Have any of you ever peed in an elevator? You ever?
No.
I've seen
I've had to.
I've seen people on videos do it.
Outside of my pants?
In Singapore, the elevators are equipped with urine detection devices, and if activated, the doors lock and don't open until the police arrive to get the perpetrator. I wrote that part.
Oh, that was a nice touch.
If that is the unlocking part true?
Yeah, they wait for the police.
So if you're in there with them, you're locked in with them until the cops get there.
Right.
And so each one just points at the other one.
Right.
What do you mean?
What if you have to go number 2?
I have to go right now. Okay,
So
Shelbert.
the moral there is if you're in Singapore, wear Depends.
Yeah. Or just
Can't
don't
be
pee
you.
in the elevator. The last time Liechtenstein went to war,
Liechtenstein.
I knew you were going to like it.
Damn it.
They sent 80 soldiers and came back with 81. They came home with an Italian soldier, which they befriended, and he wanted to live in.
Liechtenstein.
That's right.
He defected.
It's quite a recruiting policy.
All right, Keith. You know a Persian princess. Why don't you do this one?
Do know a Persian princess. In the ancient Persian Empire, men would debate ideas while sober and while drunk, as they believed an idea had to sound good in both states in order to be considered an acceptable idea.
I think that we've proved this one wrong.
Yeah. But I'd like to continue to do the research on it. I think we've had this one before.
It feels like we have.
I think we have.
I don't know. They sent it. I used it. Sorry if we have. And finally, Chong, this one's for you. Old people smell is a real thing.
It is.
Yeah. It's caused by molecule 2 nonenal, which is secreted by aging skin.
That's why my wife keeps telling me that.
Well, that was fun with fun facts, but what happens after fun facts, Mark?
Time for
Scooter News!
What do you have today for us?
Well, all right. So on our last podcast, I mentioned Janus Motorcycles. In fact, Chong turned me on to them. Turns out Lonnie's been following them. But these are a 250cc, they're actually a little bit smaller than that, vintage-looking, low-power motorcycle that you can order directly from the manufacturer. So they have 3 models, the Halcyon 250, and it looks like a old Harley or Indian or something like that. One of those small bikes.
And the Griffin 250.
Right. The Griffin 250 looks like a scrambler.
I just said that. And then they got the Phoenix 250.
So you're excited to talk about this, aren't you? That looks like
I did my homework.
That looks like a classic cafe style motorcycle, and all of them are appealing with a kind of a sweaty palm. I should order one of these, but not tell my wife feeling.
Well,
It's like just have it show up and say, I don't know, it just happened. I was drunk. I was looking at them, and I could order it right online.
The first one you said, doesn't that kind of have like Indian look to it?
Yeah, it sort of does. It does. If you watch Pickers,
A low-powered Indian.
yes, if you watch Pickers, you'd probably see one of the original looking ones like that. They're really cool. They're hand assembled in Goshen, Indiana.
But the motors are from mainland China.
Yes, most of the parts are sourced though in the United States. And you just want to throw in all your knowledge there?
You texted me to look at this shit, so I'm going to give you some information.
All right. Overall, pretty cool concept. I'm not sure how they handle warranty and service stuff. If you have
they're
a problem,
built to last, though.
Because there's no dealers, everything's factory
Right,
direct. And,
right.
Yeah.
They don't go fast.
so they all start at $69.99. Plus the various options, pinstriping, colors, and all kinds of bags that you can add to them. And once again, you can only purchase them through janusmotorcycles.com.
But
so,
the Griffin is 2 inches higher than the
Halcyon.
Halcyon, yeah.
Yeah. That's, what other impressions
Three
did you
pounds
take away?
difference. 3 pounds
Three
difference.
pound difference?
Halcyon is 3 pounds lighter.
Bobby, what about you? Have you thought about these? Or Keith, have you taken a good look at them? What are your thoughts on this thing, Bob?
I like the look.
Yeah. Me
I'm
too.
a little nervous about the power because I owned a Himalayan from India, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Royal Enfield.
the Royal Enfield. I didn't feel like it was enough.
It wasn't
So-
putting your hair back.
Well, I wasn't looking.
It's in a ponytail now. Maybe you should try it.
Anyway, I don't know. I need to see it in person.
I would agree. I think they're pretty cool looking bikes. It'd be cool to have one in your garage. I'd probably ride it every now and then, but yeah, I got the same feeling. And I had a Royal Enfield too, and it just seemed like it was underpowered, and just my 300cc Vespa went faster.
So, and we expect it, I guess, with the Vespas, right? I mean, that it's a low-powered experience, a low-powered joy, as I like to say, but maybe the motorcycle should have more because it's a big wheel bike. I don't know. Keith, what do you think?
I honestly think if it's a bike that size, it should be at least in the mid-30s for horsepower.
And what do they have?
14.
Is that what it is? Mm-hmm. You know, they make a claim on their website about being more in touch with the road. You know, experiencing things a little bit differently than expecting it to go 100 miles.
The displacement is 229 cubic centimeters.
Do you know the bore and stroke on that?
Actually, I
What's
do. The
the
bore and
throw?
stroke is 67 times 65 millimeters.
Okay.
Or
So it's over square.
67 by 65.
Yet they still have a real appeal to them.
No, they
and that-
absolutely do.
Yeah, and
really do.
so nice job on the designers and that sort of
So
thing.
one question I have, though, those are street only, even though they got the bigger.
No, you can take them anywhere you can put them in your garage.
They only go.
Are they off-road at all?
They don't go
Bobby?
very fast.
Well, the Scrambler maybe.
Have you ever seen one?
They actually,
live? I've never seen one out here.
I mean,
Yeah.
they show it off-road, and if you look at their demo
Videos, yeah.
they're jumping it and doing different things.
Nice.
On the
Well,
Scrambler.
you know, there is suspension systems built in Australia. It's an
I've
icon.
never known
icon.
Australia to be known for.
They don't have any
suspensions,
roads,
so
right?
Yeah, they don't. It's all outback.
So, I don't know. I like them. I've got pictures here on your notes of them. They look great, and the website experience is actually they've done a good job on their
Yeah.
website. I'm on their mailer. I'm getting some offers for bikes that people have obviously ordered that are ready for immediate delivery.
It does give you the kick or electric start option, though.
Oh, it's an
Nice
option to
feature,
get
yeah.
electric?
Yep. Well, kick and electric.
I thought it came with both.
It does. That's the option.
So it's
Kick,
not
or
an
you can
option,
turn
it's
it.
standard.
No, you have the option to start it. Do I want to kick start it or do I want to just turn the key?
So, Janus Motorcycles.
Should be my last homework assignment.
.com. Did you enjoy that, Mark?
He will never ask you to do your homework again. Nice work.
So now it is time. I don't know if you guys are ready for it, but
Sound effect?
yeah, well, it could be. It's time for Spooky News. All right, so we're on kind of a bar conversation on this particular podcast, talking about different bars that we're going to. So I want to talk about 3 bars I've never been to, but they have a connection to us on one level or another. The first one is in Aberdeen, Washington.
You know who we need? You should call a bar expert.
Yeah, we're going to call Peter in just a little bit.
What a
But
great
this
mind.
one's called Billy's Bar and Grill. And this is thanks to foodnetworkblog.com or foodnetwork.com. But Billy's Bar and Grill in Aberdeen, Washington, which is down by the coast, was built in 1904 in old downtown Aberdeen in the Crowther Wooding Building. And it's one of the oldest buildings in Aberdeen. It was home to the Red Cross and a drugstore before turning into a series of taverns. Since 1980, it's been home to Billy's Bar and Grill. Here's where it's unique. The fact that it is haunted, but despite taking name inspiration from the local serial killer Billy Ghoul.
What?
Yeah. Its reputation as a brothel in the 1950s, you can even see a bullet hole in the wall. It's supposed to come from an enraged madam who shot her pimp. In Aberdeen.
Enough was enough.
It's been
They had a
known to
pandemic.
happen.
But before we continue with the next line here, Billy Ghoul, the serial killer, was also called Billy the Ghoul, or
That's a great
the
name.
Ghoul of Aberdeen. He was suspected of killing over 100 sailors between 1902 and 1910. They actually prosecuted him for two of them, and he ended up dying in Walla Walla, where we started our last scooter trip.
Wow, it's gone full circle.
So, yeah, pretty cool. So he died in 1927. That was the year of 1927.
Yeah, that was 2 years before the
I was saying it
crash.
was 1917 that Don Carlson was born, but not 1927. Anyway, it's a whole bunch of
Well, Don
synchronicity
would have
going
been
on
10.
going on here. But here's what I like. So this is a haunted bar. They've got all kinds of different drinks. They're named after a serial killer, and then they describe themselves. Billy's is a family-friendly spot with gourmet pub food.
Well, you got to bring in the kids.
We could run down there. That's only about, 70 miles?
I think it would be a
It's a
good
day
ride.
trip.
Yeah. They say it's hard to say who's responsible for the paranormal activity, which includes the smell of mysterious cigarette smoke, music suddenly blaring, the sound of a child giggling and running up and down the halls, and coffee cups flying off the wall, to name a few. Of course, their burgers, Mark.
Oh, I'm in.
Yeah, they have the big cheese, which 2 grilled cheese and bacon sandwiches stand in for the bun. So they build a burger around a BLT. Or they have the ghost burger, which has a ghost pepper on top with the jalapenos and sriracha. And then they have the red snapper Bloody Mary. There's a joke there, but I'm going to leave it alone. They do have house-made Bloody Mary mix. So that's Billy's Bar and Grill in Aberdeen. And yeah, we're going to talk to Peter about that.
Excellent.
And
What's the other bar you have for us?
well, this is Finn's Tavern. And Finn's Tavern is in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Whoa, we just
So-
took a jump.
Why did I bring up Knoxville? Well, I worked there in the early 1980s
That's
during the
right.
World's Fair. And I go down there all the time because it's the head of the boat group. The boat group is located down there, and that's a Brunswick product, as long as
that the
Mastercraft,
official name?
Bayliner, Sea Ray,
The
all
boat
those.
group? Is
The
that what
boat
you
group.
call yourselves?
No, that's who builds them. Also, our friend Miranda Young from Ghost Biker Explorations
yeah.
lives right down there. So Knoxville, I go to for business. I used to go there and work. We know her and have interviewed her down there, so I just thought Finn's Tavern would be
good
kind of
choice.
cool.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So 2 days before the restaurant reopened in 1918, owner John Ferry was locking up and headed down the stairs by the kitchen door. Suddenly, he felt a cold spiral of air surround his body, move up to his head, then back down to his waist.
I think Marilyn Monroe had that same feeling.
Before it evaporated. Other spooky shenanigans include lights flickering, music changing mysteriously, glassware and kegs moving on their own. Even so, the restaurant maintains a cozy
Glass-wearing
vibe.
kegs?
Yeah, glass-wearing kegs.
Well,
Anyway, so that was kind of cool. Maybe, Miranda, you could check that out for us and let us know. She has a new video out, too, at ghostbikerexplorations.com.
might be worth another interview with
Yeah,
Miranda.
she is fearless. Spends her night alone in haunted old places. Any thoughts on this one, guys? Anybody else been to Knoxville?
Never.
Bobby Chong has. Pretty silent.
Bobby, have you been to Finn's?
I have not, but I started the Transamerica Trail near Knoxville, Tennessee,
Oh,
about 5 or 6 years ago on a BMW.
What is the Transamerica Trail, Bob?
All dirt from eastern Tennessee to the Oregon coast.
Wow.
did you make that whole trip, or you?
I made the whole trip, but I didn't stay on the dirt the whole time.
That's why they call it a dual sport.
Exactly.
And then finally, here's one that shame on all of us, Bravas in Lewiston, Idaho, where we had a great time at shooters.
Anything to do with Lewis and Clark?
Yeah, the Clarkston is on one side of the river. Lewiston's on the other. But in downtown Lewiston, where we were tearing it up for two different days,
yes,
there was Bravas that we completely missed. And it's a place that makes creative Moscow mules, but really more importantly, spirits of another realm are known to frequent the bar there. There are a bunch of underground tunnels connecting the downtown's oldest buildings. So we talked about that in our podcast, our second part of our COVID podcast. But we missed this place, so we're going to have to go back.
Well, it sounds like just like almost all of our other trips, just another reason to go back.
Yeah, the most recent tale comes from the general manager, Chris Maxey, who, along with a few other late-night patrons, heard glasses shattering and someone yelling, "Get out!" And they went to investigate.
That was his wife.
There was no one in the bathroom, kitchen, or living room, no broken glass found. Sounds like it's actually a pretty cool place. And it looks like
shooters?
They grow their own fresh herbs.
Well,
That was what happened.
It's legal there.
It was after hours. So it wasn't far from shooters. You looked on the map, right, Mark?
yeah. Yep, we were within scooter shot, that's for sure.
Dang it.
And I don't recall anybody suggesting we go there.
No.
I don't either.
Yeah, let's blame it on the Lewistonians.
Yeah, it can't be our fault.
Yeah, we even went around the corner and found those other bars that were heading back toward Clarkston. We were on the block a couple of times and did that. So there it is. There's your spooky news for the day. All right, sorry. Always try to hit the right thing.
Damn studio audience.
Can we start the next segment?
Yeah, let's do that. Staying with the bar theme, actually, guys, let's take a few minutes to catch up with Peter Andresjeski, the author of SeattleBars.org blog that's transcended not just Seattle, but all over the place.
And what'd you call him earlier that I liked?
The Shepard of
The
Cocktail.
Shepard of Bars.
Anyway, now he's all over Western U.S. and beyond, and Peter's visited and reviewed over 4,100 bars and lounges, about 1,600 of those in Seattle. He has a pretty keen eye for the cool places and neat stuff. So we're going to welcome Peter back, and just 3 years ago he did one of our first podcasts.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
we went to meet him at Jules Mays.
Yeah.
That's where you shunned us and made us all stay while you went to talk to him.
He's also going to talk about some of the classic places locally that have shut down, and maybe a little bit about strip mall bars, but maybe not. And maybe we'll ask him about Billy's there in Aberdeen. So
Think about that. Do the math for a second. 4,100 bars. We've done scooter trips for the last 9-10 years?
yeah,
If we get 40, if we were lucky to get 40.
well, that's
And
just our little trip, but yeah,
But that's a 400. He's done 4,100 bars.
right.
He's outworking us.
Yeah, this is unacceptable.
What a stud.
Yeah, but he's
Yeah,
got
but-
more than 4 days.
I know, but that's just incredible.
But I have us at around 1,000 bars right now. So between all those years and all our 1 day, 2 bars, 3 bars trips, that's my number.
Well, it sounded impressive until you gave out the 4,100.
You're right.
Peters kind of, and I feel like a child again.
All right. Well, let's welcome Peter.
Yeah, give him a call.
We're with Peter Andresjeski, who is the author of SeattleBars.org, amongst a couple of other ones. And you are the final say. You are the wizard of cocktails. You're the guy that's been to a lot of different bars. In fact, over 4,100 you've had a drink in, or as you say, I've drunk in.
Yeah, of course, the COVID has slowed me down a little bit, but we're still counting.
Well, you've been to some places recently, man. I follow you on social media, and you come up with some incredible stuff, including Tiny's. Was that the last one I saw?
Tiny's is one of the ones I just posted recently, although it's been a while. It's closed now. The Wapato one?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, that closed. I just got around to posting it because I'm way, way behind on my blog post, Mark.
You still have 4,100 of them, so I think we're okay.
We won't tell anybody.
So You know and keep track of the bars that open and close in the market, at least up here, Western Washington. And there's been some pretty heartbreaking stories that have happened through COVID. And we don't really want to dwell on it. It's a sad deal, but I think we need to acknowledge it, that there have been some really cool places that have closed down, including when we did our first interview, Jules Mays. Maybe you could fill us in on some of the other ones that aren't top of mind or that's broken your heart particularly.
Yeah, the only ones I track really closely, Mark, are in Seattle city limit. The two heartbreakers there are, like you mentioned, Jules Mays and Queen City Grill.
Right.
As you know, I tend to like the older ones with a lot of history, and depending on the count, we have between 5 and 7 bars in Seattle that go back before Prohibition, and that's 2 of them that we lost this year. So I think you guys love Jules Mays like I do. It's the one that really preserved that old West Saloon feel better than any other, and felt like an old roadhouse. And it has not quite as old as they say it is, but it's very old.
Well, you've done your research.
Yeah. The verbal history is usually inaccurate when you start tracking these things in primary sources. But there's been a bar there since 1907, and Jules Mays was in that building starting in 1937, and actually he was there a little earlier during Prohibition, but they changed the name to Jules Mays in 37, and then it was Jules Mays off and on, but for most of those years since. So that's a heartbreaker.
So, Peter, I've got a quick question for you regarding Jules Mays. Is there any chance of it coming back with a different owner, or it's done?
Yeah, I don't know, and that's the same with Queen City Grill, right? So Jules Mays, all I know is they blamed a rent hike, which is kind of unexpected in the middle of a pandemic. So, but I have no idea what the owner's thinking. I wish I did.
Besides those two, there's some other ones that we've noticed down in our area, like the Right Spot closed down, and
the Swiss Tavern in Tacoma.
Oh yeah,
and Johnny's at Fife, and Johnny's Dock, both.
Right.
All of those are iconic. Most of them, at least, are iconic South Sound
local
places.
Iconic.
Yeah, so it's weird out there.
Don't forget Shenanigans.
Right. I've tried to forget it since the only time I went there. We're also going to talk and have talked a little bit about Billy's, which is down in Aberdeen. And you said you swung in there?
Yeah, I went down there. I can't remember how long ago, to tell you the truth, but I like Aberdeen as a bar city, and it's in a historic building, and I'm sure for you, if it's named after a serial murderer, it's a can't miss, right?
and known to be haunted.
I have no doubt.
What were your impressions of the place?
It's cozy. To me, it felt a little like an old 70s fern bar, a little bit. It's not too unusual. There aren't any, I didn't see any dead bodies or hear any ghosts when I was there. But they have a fairly nice kind of modern pub food menu, and again, it's in right downtown in an old historic brick building, so it's well worth a visit. Yeah,
I think that we're going to have to get on our scooters and head to Aberdeen, Hoquiam, Aberdeen, Cosmopolis, all those places down there, and do a little tour. Well, lately, what are some new bars that you've found or gone to that have increased your enthusiasm for your trek, for your project?
I went on a pretty massive road trip to Montana and not Wisconsin, to Montana and Idaho, South Dakota, North Dakota, a big loop around that's sort of the Midwest, not the Midwestern states, but east of us and west of the Midwest. And through that whole trip, there are just so many great old cowboy themed bars and buffalo themed bars. I have a weakness for dead animals on the walls. And,
so do people in this room.
Plenty of those.
So we just missed each other at a particular bar in Oregon, right? In the northeast corner of Oregon.
Yeah.
What was it? That was where Phil, the two brothers owned it. It was haunted.
Oh, right.
It was right before we headed up over the pass. and it was the name of the town.
Women were not allowed there back in the day.
Yeah, no women until after the 1940s. They had the freezer story.
What was the name of that town?
Yeah,
They looked like brothers.
and Pete sent me a note on and said, "Oh my, we had a post." He went, "I was just there." Anyway, we'll come up with it before the end of this podcast, but maybe not by the end of this interview. But did you go to the Range Rider in Enterprise, Oregon?
I did go to the Range Rider. I'd been to it before, but not in it because it was closed before. I can't remember what bar it was at, but there was an old cowboy who said, "Oh, if you like the antique back bars, you got to go to Enterprise." And there's an old one there. And so I went there, could not find the old back bar. There's not an old Brunswick or anything super ornate in the Range Rider.
No, they have nice big oak tables or real dark stained tables that were kind of cool. But you're right, they're kind of around the kitchen. It's kind of a kitchen themed place but they did make a cocktail, so that part was good. Lonnie, did you have a question?
I did not know.
Because your microphone's making funny noises.
Oh, sorry, boss.
So I think that we're on a similar loop because we went to Lewiston, Clarkston.
Was it Kelly's?
Moscow.
We were in Milton.
No,
Milton Freewater.
That wasn't it. It was. I'll come up with it in a minute.
Yeah,
It was
my memory is better too.
It was something called Grill and Pub. They had the reverse names on it. So where'd you go this weekend?
So this weekend we basically went around Mount Rainier. So I only got one new bar in, but we got lots of hikes and waterfalls in. So
cool. What was the new bar? We need to hear. That's pretty close to us.
Actually, right now the bar part isn't open, but there's I'm not going to remember the name.
That's okay.
It's not Elgin Station.
It's Elgin Station.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
It was named after me, only without an H.
That's right. So going back to the Mount Rainier, did he say the bar car wasn't open? Was that in Elby or Ashford?
I'm not going to remember.
LB Tavern or the bar?
It's a restaurant tavern. They're famous for their blackberry pie. It's something like Copper Creek, something like that. Does that ring a bell?
No. Yeah. It does for Bob, yeah.
Is that LB?
I don't recall. It was when we went, that was close to the place we spent the night.
Oh, that little town right at the entrance to Mount Rainier.
Where Keith had the Himalayan.
Morton.
There was a Himalayan restaurant there, and it took Keith down for 2 days.
Was it Morton?
Oh, really?
No, it wasn't Morton. No.
Okay. All of us are getting too old to do interviews because none of us can remember anything.
Yeah. Good thing we don't do live radio. A couple times people have told me, yeah, you would be really good on radio, but not unless you liked a lot of, so I went to the one place, talked to that guy, the guy.
Yeah, the guy. He was a good, remember that guy? So, you've been to 4,100 plus bars, and I know you write it down, and it's a great resource to go to seattlebars.org and get all the background information you want on any bar you want to go to mostly in the Western Washington area, but you've been to New Orleans and other places as well, all over in Montana, Idaho, Oregon, California.
Yeah, and that last trip was the first time I really hit Wyoming, so that was a lot of fun.
That's cool because we got Keith just got back from Jackson Hole.
Nice $1 million cowboy bar.
Yeah, and he went to Hamilton after that. So you like that.
That's the one place where motel rooms were like more than $50 a night on my trip.
Well, she's worth it.
Hey, Peter, for our listeners who don't know, when did you start your trek here, your journey?
Well, I think it was 2006. Again, my memory's so bad, I have to refresh my memory on this. For years, for several years, I would average almost one new bar a day. So
I'm so envious.
1 year I had 365 exactly.
Oh, that's so cool.
And another year, 367 new bars.
Okay, so you weren't married then, though. Those are your unmarried years.
That is absolutely true. So between getting married and the COVID, it's going a lot slower now. But like I said, we're still counting.
Well, guys, is there anything that you have left? Bob, do you have a question?
I don't. I was going to say, I think it was Ashford.
Ashford. Would that be where that bar was? Copper
That's
Creek?
it, I think. Yeah.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Nice. I think we went to that bar. That was at second place.
Cafe was it?
Yeah, the cafe. Yeah.
Couple things, Mark, on that just come to mind on the closings. Funny enough, at least in Seattle, in terms of numbers, there aren't an unusual number of bars that have closed so far. So you mentioned I tracked these. So far, I have 43 that have closed, and I probably missed a few, but that's close. And an average here, 55 to 65 will close.
Oh, wow.
So I think there's probably some pent up debt that we're going to see, for a long time now, higher rate. But just wanted to mention some of the other ones. I don't know how many of these you guys have been to, but the Attic been around in Seattle since the 30s.
Madison Park?
Yeah.
Yeah, been there.
The owner, died fairly recently, and they closed down. The Rebar was pretty legendary in Seattle.
Yep,
for
been there.
Parts and
They have shots right out of they have taps with different shots on it, kind of like that.
Yeah, Nirvana was kicked out of there after a record release party. They have lots of stories. Fred Wildlife Refuge was a pretty wild place that closed down. I am going to miss the Swiss. I'm glad you guys reminded me of that. I don't know if you checked out their auction. I just have too much stuff already.
I looked at it online. I think you did too, Lonnie.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Did a lot of cool stuff. Oh, and then we have the pizza joint. Freddie G's closed down at 5.
Louis G's.
Louis G's. Right.
Freddie's cousin.
All right. Well, good stuff. And thank you, Peter of SeattleBars.org. And once again, the purveyor of all things that we need to know out in there. One last final question before you go. Are you going to buy a bar?
Boy, that's a good question. I don't know is the answer, but I'd like to do that, but I'm kind of risk adverse, so I'd want to do it in a situation where it didn't have to make money.
So like many bars.
Could have us as patrons.
Yeah. I've kind of fantasized about having a bar way out in the woods somewhere, but I'm not in a place where I'm going to pull the trigger on that real soon. I'm having too much fun. If I had a bar, I'd be working on it 24/7, right? And so that would really cramp my style visiting all the other bars. So maybe someday.
Cool. Well, when you do, we'll come visit. We'll bring our scooters up and harass your guests.
Well, I will be watching carefully for ghosts too.
Thank you. All right. Well, thanks again, Peter. It's great to catch up, and please say hello to your beautiful wife, Trista, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks, Peter.
Yeah, I'll do that. Someday we're going to run into each other out like in Wyoming or Nebraska or something.
That would be great. I think we're heading to Aberdeen next.
Okay.
All right, man.
Maybe so.
Thanks,
Talk soon.
Peter.
All right.
Thank you,
Take
Peter.
care.
Yeah, have a great one, guys.
Bye.
What a great interview.
Well, he's
impressive.
He's relaxed to talk to, but man, he actually knows his shit because he's been to those places, that many bars.
That is more than impressive.
It's almost like work.
Well, exactly.
Of course, I drink at work.
And golf. Oh, wait a minute. Are you going to stay in Bozeman for your daughter's birthday tomorrow?
That's why you're the Lou Grant of the bolt business.
It's Cooper's birthday on Tuesday.
That's right. It is.
He's going to be 22 years old.
Wow.
My goodness. So nice
How
to be able
old does that make you? Never mind.
Anyway, back to Peter. You know what? That guy is just such a stud. I'm so impressed with him and all the reviews that he's done and all the knowledge that he has.
And to do it this long,
Yeah.
that's a commitment.
Yep, for sure.
This is Chelsea at Knapp's Grill in Hamilton, Montana, and you are listening to Chasing Ghosts
We're on commercial break.
on scooters in bars.
Yeah.
Hello again, Bobby Chong.
Oh, all the way from Hamilton, Wyoming? Bobby Chong.
Hamilton, Montana.
Hamilton, Montana. We just finished last Sunday going on a little bit of a mini pub crawl, pub scoot in the afternoon, and it turns out we did a strip mall pub crawl.
It's just kind of the way it worked out, wasn't
And
it?
we actually went to 5 bars. 3 of them we've never really been to before, at least 2 or the 3. So let's talk about that a little bit. When we started, it was Lizard. We met you at the Star Lake Inn,
Yep.
which is somewhere in some town
Yeah,
in between Kent and South Seattle and
Yep.
and
Star
Federal
Lake.
Way and Burien. I don't know.
In a shithole of a place in a residential neighborhood, and
Well, but it's also a historic marker because it's back from the early 1900s. They can't make changes to the building.
well, I
because
think they
it's
could probably put in new carpet and maybe sweep the floor once in a while. Just saying. But I still like it. Don't get me wrong.
We left there and we headed to a place which is literally, it's only 5 miles from where I live now, and I've never been there in my life. I heard of it maybe once, but it's called the Brickyard, and it's right off Military Road, which, by the way, Military Road is actually that. It goes all the way down to the Joint Base Lewis McChord area, and it was the first line that had a telegraph on it back in the early 1900s.
It's a long run.
Yeah, but
It was a main drag that was there long before I-5 and even Highway 99, right?
Yeah. So this place is in a big strip mall. I don't know what the anchor store is, if there even is one. It's a little bit suspect neighborhood, maybe a little bit shady.
There's no anchor there.
Sketchy a little bit. But the bar itself was clean, and it was well appointed and bright and lots of televisions. They took care of everything, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
They serve a purpose. I think I mentioned it when we were on that trip. It's kind of like a 7-Eleven. It's convenient. It's okay. It's got what you need. It's got some booze. It's got some food. It just doesn't have any feel to it.
right. It's not in a classic old building.
Yeah.
It's in a strip mall, and they worked with what they had there, and it's you're right. It serves the purpose, but they did a good job of
Yeah,
doing
they did.
that.
Yeah.
Will we go
like I
back?
said, it's clean. Yeah, I'd go back. It's 3.5 stars on Yelp overall. The same owners have had it for the last 19 years, and 3 of the people that work there have worked there over 17 years. So that does say something about the people that run the place.
Run it. I mean, I've got an employee that's been with us for over 50 years, but whatever.
I mean, are you going to let him go?
Sorry, Jim.
He's still in the warehouse.
Some things about it. They have half-price drinks whenever the Seahawks score.
That's good.
Yeah. If the Mariners hit a home run or the
they're making
Sounders hit a
money there.
goal, you get a half-price drink. Plenty of televisions. It has sort of a workhorse atmosphere
Yeah.
inside. But like I said, good service. We had our server was Liz. She was great. So to take your words on it, this is not an old classic pub in a downtown urban district. This is a working class neighborhood strip mall bar.
Yep.
But I think for what they have and what they're doing, they've kept it clean, and I would not be uncomfortable going back there.
I wouldn't either. And what did we have to eat?
We had corn dogs,
Yes, we did. So
and they were
You
delicious.
guys cut them up, or
Well, we each took one. Anyway, I was expecting something different, maybe a little grittier than what it was, and it turns out it's a clean and functional place and nice people.
yep, I'll go back.
That work there. So thank you, Brickyard. From there, we hopped on our scoots, expecting the sun to break out. Remember, it was supposed to.
Yeah.
We had all the smoke that had come in and the fog. It was reasonably warm, but it felt like the cloudy winter day, or
It
the
sure
color,
did.
the color of it. And it was supposed to have been sunshiny by right now. So I didn't overdress for this, but I seemed to be okay. We headed off to JP's Tavern. It was maybe 3.5 miles away from where we were.
Right.
It is on First Avenue in the West Campus area of the Weyerhaeuser development
A Federal Way.
of
right.
Federal Way, right? It's an odd little strip mall, Chinese restaurant, a gift shop, a 7-Eleven separately.
Right, a doctor's
And then
office.
So another
This-
one-stop shop.
Yep.
This place is around the corner a little bit, but it's part of the strip mall. It's an odd setup. Used to be called Lolly's Pub.
Which was there for a long time.
Yeah, I would bet it's been there 30, 40
Yeah.
years. And the new owners, it looks like they probably cleaned it up a little bit. It's nicely done inside. Different levels of seating with
Pretty big.
pretty big.
Nice and clean.
We met a woman there who was a microbiologist.
You don't
That's
hear
right.
that every day.
That's right.
It surprised me.
For Trident Seafoods.
Well, she came over with a test kit and took a look at my drink and said, "That's a problem." But she did work for Trident. She was very nice, And it was a nice place. Now, this is interesting.
Did she declare you a guppy?
They own the company that bought this from Lolly's owned JP's in Renton, a JP's in Kent. One's called a bar room, one called a tap room, one called a tavern. They also own the Hi-Hee in Gig Harbor.
Yeah.
How do you say that, Lonnie?
Hi-Hee.
Hi-Hee in Gig Harbor.
I was a funny guy.
And we went there a couple of years ago on a scoot coming back from the little Olympic Peninsula through Gig Harbor and stopped in for the final shot of the day.
It's a good place.
Yeah, it was fun.
And the Buffalo Bills were playing that day.
Do you really remember that?
I remember that. 'Cause,
I do remember
people
that.
at the bar were watching it for the Buffalo. They were losing. They were bitching at them, and then they ended up winning. They were happy.
So
there you go.
They have a good rating on Yelp, 4 stars with 45 reviews. And once again, this was a first-time visit for me and surprisingly well appointed. Well, it's still a strip mall bar, but I'd go back.
It's rather close and kind of in between.
Easy.
And
It gives
I'd go
us some
back.
options. Yeah. So I'm turning into a strip bar guy. Strip mall bar guy.
A strip bar whore.
And we ended it up in our final strip mall bar, which we've been to in the past too many times. I would like to admit was very near my house, 2 miles away, maybe, that I lived on before I moved here. And it's called Jersey's, and it's in Federal Way. It's off 21st Street. So if JP's was on First, this is all the way up on 21st, and it's at the most southern point of the city of Federal Way. 3 stars on Yelp. A Seahawks sports bar for sure. They used to promote a lot of stuff. They even had their own
Norm
Seahawks
Johnson.
beer, right?
Didn't Marshawn Lynch's mom used to drink there or something like that?
I think
She
so.
did, yeah.
Yeah.
Bob, you
Among others.
you
Mama
bring
Lynch?
in your own burrito, your own taco shells, and have them make you tacos.
Yeah, low carb.
You still live up there. Sometimes you go in there and the same people are sitting at the same table that you saw when you
Bobby,
left the last time you were there.
Groundhog's Day.
Oh, absolutely.
Bobby, you are a fucking legend, man. I tell you what.
Well, I don't have a plate on the bar, but
Not yet.
Yeah.
It is a little bit of a sausage fest at times. It does have a full kitchen, some good food, a patio, deck in the back. Not really a deck.
There's smoking
You're out
area.
in the alley, right?
Yeah.
They have a
Just
metal fence around
asphalt.
everything. Yeah. And like I said, it was pretty damn close to the house that I used to live in, so I could swing in there, straighten myself out, and get home and face some music a little bit.
Was it Taps? The music?
hey, Mark, I'm surprised you didn't mention that we had a karting friend that we met at JP's.
Yeah, I forgot to bring that up, but we did post it on our Instagram page at Chasing Ghost Pod, Chasing Ghosts on Scooters and Bars. Anywhere you look, you can find us on social
There's
media.
the plug. We thought we were getting out of it.
But we were sitting at JP's, and these 2 guys walk in, and they have full riding suits on and helmets. And we go, hey, what are you guys riding? And they go, oh, a couple of little 2-strokes. And I go, cool. So I walk outside.
They were little Januses?
They had one of those go fast go-karts, race carts that you see, that he'd driven all the way from Peasley Canyon. So it was probably
Which was several miles away.
probably 4 or 5 miles at least on a go-kart. Going
little-
to a
a
bar.
little go-kart.
And then the other guy was on one of those little teeny tiny motorcycles, but they were both 2-strokes, and they were having fun. And we were like, hey, aren't you a little worried about like getting in trouble? And they go, if the protesters can lie down in the middle of the freeway, I can drive my go-kart anywhere I want.
I love that.
God bless America.
That was
So we come out of the bar. We're like going to head to Jersey's and go to our next strip mall pub crawl bar. And Bobby goes, "Where are you guys going?" Jersey's. And they take off on their deal. So we saw them in 2 different bars at that on that particular
And
day.
a new
But,
friendship was hatched.
yeah, they were actually military guys, I think, but very very nice people. And so there you go. That was fun, and that was our ride. All right, Lonnie, Lizard, I'm going to let you lead this one. The couples scoot. We just did our annual ride where we invite, my voice just went up, where we invite our wives to go on a ride with us.
Yeah.
Or girlfriends.
Right.
Never both
Right,
at
no,
the same
no,
time.
Can't do both.
So, and if you remember, we were going to spend a night. We were going to go do an overnight to Bobby's cabin up in Whidbey. Weather and things kind of squished that down to a one-day ride. Where did we meet? In my house? Did
We
start at my house?
we went to your place at Three Tree Point,
Yeah.
and we had mimosas.
That's right.
Well, we
you,
started.
You and Bobby.
Yeah,
you and
thanks
Bobby
to-
started it, and then Keith and I joined you at Milton Lodge.
Right.
Oh,
we
that's
did
right. You
start
guys
at the
got an
Milton
early start.
Lodge.
At 7 a.m.
They open at
That's
7.
right.
And when we got there at 7, they're already open. we were a little uncomfortable, but we
You settled in.
acclimated very quickly.
Right, and then you guys all rode up to my house and had a mimosa or something.
Couple
Yeah.
cocktails there.
And then we headed up to a place called Cactus at Alki Point.
Yep. And
Right.
in Seattle.
Yeah.
West Seattle.
Great, goddamn.
Your
hot,
food-
spicy.
your
yeah,
food
whatever
was
that
good?
Egg thing was.
I had chicken and waffles.
That's right.
It was good.
Yeah, and the sun came out a little bit.
Right
and,
there on the water, yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
So from there, we went for a little ride and ended up at the parking lot of Smarty Pants in Burien.
Yep.
Old Town Burien, right?
Yep.
And there was a gentleman's ride going on. It was so
Which we
packed.
saw drive by at Cactus.
We did. Yeah. And we couldn't get in the bar.
No, it was too busy. Yeah.
Yeah.
The line was out the door.
So we walked down to a brew pub and it was too empty.
So we said back to Murray's.
So I think we headed back then to Three Tree Point
Yep.
and we settled in to watch the football game, the Seahawks game,
Yep.
which they won. And they have a game starting here shortly. They're 4-0, by the way.
So the couple scoot, which typically is at least a one night overnight, was condensed to 8 hours of riding
Day
and
trip.
football, but it was a
Where,
good day.
Mark, your and I wives met via vehicle.
Right. They didn't even ride.
No.
They met us. They didn't go to brunch.
No, they met us just at Murray's house.
You got to remember.
They did the minimum involvement.
Remember, that's where when T-Bone's scooter went.
Yep, Bobby rode two
Did
up.
you go? You went 2 up, didn't you, Bob?
We did. We rode 2 up from Lonnie's house to Alki Point and back.
Did she reach around and give you a boner?
No, none of that.
But she smelled old man.
Yeah,
The whole ride.
He used to call it Old Spice.
Smell real. When was the last time you changed clothes?
Well, I let it air out.
And you got to give Mary credit because she took the rental back, and then Keith, you went to pick her up between hand, and she rode rode your scooter the rest of the day.
It was a good day.
It really was. It was a very
very
nice day. And Keith, you rode all the way back with me. We made it all the way to the to Meridian, and I go, hey, I'm going to peel off up here, but you went another direction. Where did you go?
Took a left down 122nd.
Yeah, but you didn't go down Meridian with me.
We took a left onto Meridian and
went
then
home.
He felt like you left him at the altar.
Left on Porter, and then back Church Road.
I lost you. So that was actually a fun ride back. By then, the sun was starting to come out.
And you wanted to make another
6 o'clock
stop.
at night. I wanted to make
wanted
another
to go
stop,
another-
and nobody would do it.
Because it would have been 3 more.
No, I wouldn't have.
JP's, Jersey's, Brickyard.
Really?
This is Sarah at JP's Tavern in Federal Way, Washington, and you are listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
See, there you go. So that sort of wraps us up
What a show. A full show.
for a day with the boys. We flung this little thing together, and we have Peter Andresjeski to thank. We appreciate you being here. We have the full crew for the most part here in the garage, and I'm going to buy another microphone and headset so we can add that. And
So we're still doing a growth pattern, is our projection.
yeah. I mean, we have been growing. Our listenership's been growing. We lost one last week, but other than that,
COVID? It wasn't Trump, was it?
He
tried to.
He had underlying issues.
Anyway, Jesus. Thanks to our listeners for listening. Weeknights for the original music, and our shut-in crew for the Garage Podcast Studio for giving up their day to make this happen. So until then, be safe out there, mask up, glove up, and keep up. Copyright 2020 by Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.